What happened while we were away, brought to you by Prison. Anthony Fauci is going on a media blitz, shamelessly gaslighting the entire country in an attempt to shore up his public image before his announced retirement later this year. Here's just a few things he said this week.
So this wasn't a way to avoid Republican investigations if they take over the House and or the Senate.
Oh, Neil, not at all. Not even a little bit. I mean, I have nothing to hide, and I can defend everything I've done and every decision I've made. Things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out, as the months went by, to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Do you regret particularly the last one, the shutdown, the sweeping shutdown that some said made things worse?
No, I don't, Neil. And in fact, I think we need to make sure that your listeners understand I didn't shut down anything.
And now this from Justin Hart.
I didn't shut down anything. I recommended to the president that we shut the country down.
And the only way to do that is by draconian means of essentially shutting down a country. We know that we can do that if we shut down.
Well, I think one of the things you really need to do, to the extent that you can shut down temporarily the country, I think is important.
Well, if I knew at the time that shutting down would have such a dramatic effect on controlling the spread, obviously we would have shut down earlier. There are those who say you shut down you destructive things by disrupting the economy, and others say, well, if you save so many infections by shutting down, why didn't you shut down 2 weeks early?
The newest Pew survey on Joe Biden's job approval shows a continuing downward trend. Only 37% approve of the job he's doing and 60% disapprove overall. Biden is underwater by 30 points with men, 34 to 64. Underwater with women by 17 points, 40 to 57. Underwater with whites by 36 points, 31 to 67. Clinging to approval with blacks, 52 to 44. Underwater with Hispanics by 3 points, 47 to 50. Barely approved by those with a postgraduate degree, 50 to 49. Underwater with those without a college degree by 26 points, 35 to 61. And underwater with young people between the age of 18 to 29 by 28 points, 35 to 63. In completely unrelated news, the Biden administration is set to announce at any moment forgiveness of $10,000 of student loans and lengthen the pause on paying back those loans. According to the federal government, the average student loan debt for federal loans is almost $40,000. In further completely unrelated news, the United States is sending another $3 billion of aid to Ukraine to celebrate the 6-month anniversary of the conflict with Russia. The total aid the United States has sent over there is now around the $60 billion mark. The ACLU says the FBI searched emails, texts, and other electronic communications of upwards of 3.4 million Americans without a warrant. The queries were made between December of 2020 and November of 2021 by FBI personnel under the guise of looking for signs and threats of terrorists and hacking. A slew of Florida school boards flipped conservative yesterday during the state's statewide primaries and local elections. The 1776 Project PAC is reporting flipped seats in several Florida counties, including flipping 5 county school boards from liberal to conservative majorities, one of which is Miami-Dade County, a huge accomplishment. You'll remember last week when we had Ryan Walters on the show. He easily won his election for Oklahoma Public Education Commissioner yesterday, beating out the Democrats' well-funded teachers union-backed candidate. Aaron's Razor update, it's just demonic, bro. In Florida, this father says that Clay County District Schools secretly, quote-unquote, transitioned his 12-year-old daughter without his knowledge and affirmed his daughter's male name and pronouns.
We removed her from the school environment and placed her in homebound. We brought her back from her confusion. She is steadfast and sure of her gender, and the suicidal ideation is gone. This semester, actually, she is ready to go back to the brick and mortar school setting. In summary, our daughter was suicidal when she was being affirmed. However, when she was brought back from that state of confusion, the suicidal ideation disappeared completely. Therefore, my daughter's case disproves the current narrative that the lives of children with gender dysphoria are in jeopardy if they do not get affirmed. If you validate one delusion, then what is next?
The father shared his testimony in front of Florida State Surgeon General Joe Ladapo. By the way, all 3 liberal school board candidates in that district lost their elections to conservatives yesterday. Checking in on TikTok.
So I'm going to say my pronouns real quick and why. So he spelled HY is because I'm agender and I just like the masculinity, but I don't want to be associated with men. God is me validating my agenderness because I don't view myself as a god. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in gods. But I just like the, not feeling, but how it's perceived with me. So God, the reason why I use it is because as an agender person, I don't have a gender. So it's like I'm existing and I'm not existing at the same time. God.
And finally, this from the Babylon Bee. New study shows an alarming link between being a conspiracy theorist and not having myocarditis. And that's what happened while we were away.